Hello everyone. This is Eugene Rosen, spokesman of Jehovah's Witnesses, Brooklyn, New York. Also, he was a circuit overseer, and he was on a radio station, and they was talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, and one person brought out about the false dates, 1914, 1925, and the comment he made on this audio, when I'm going to play it to y'all, that 1925 existed. He said it was among the Bible students that was going around saying the world was going to end in 1925. Well, the problem with this, Eugene is lying for the governing body. The reason I'm saying this, because 1920 and 1921, there was two books that was put out by the governing body. One of them is named Millions Now Living Will Never Die. And this book here, The Harp of God, on the bottom of this of the cover of the book, proof it's hard to make it out, but I can turn page within the book. But on the bottom part it says, "Millions now living will never die." Harp of God. This was on the bottom of the front cover. Proof conclusive that millions now living will never die. This book was written in 1921 by Judge Rutherford. From who? Watchtower Bible Tract Society, International Bible Student Association, Brooklyn, New York. A little bit later on, I'm going to show you from these two books the proof that they put out in 1925, and the lie that he said on this audio, that it wasn't the Bible students that made up this date, and they claimed that they made apology that the Bible students came up with this false date. Well, here's the funny part. Since who was in charge of writing these books, which, yeah, guess who? It was Judge Rutherford. He was the author of these two books. So if he was the author, then he was the writer of these two books. So I want y'all to hear what he said, and I'm going to show you the proof from these two books that these men that was controlling the Bible students that later on became Jehovah's Witnesses hasn't been truthful about their false predictions of end of the world.
That everything seems to be in a state of crisis at the moment, and ties in with certain biblical prophecies. There's a thing that convinces us that the system as we know it is about to terminate and be taken by another system. Why do you think that other religions are affected? Well, of course, statements made like that does sound as rather first, but what we have in mind is that history shows that often religions, when coming into great power, making unions with certain political systems, have been oppressive of the people. Jerusalem was baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses when he was 12 years old, and first began service as a minister at the age of 16. Mr. Lawson has participated in missionary work in Mexico and Arizona, and as a circuit overseer in Oregon, Cleveland, California, and in New York City and Holland in particular. He is presently circuit overseer in Ontario and spokesman for the Jehovah's Witness. Mr. Lawson, my name is Eric Bengoff, and I'm first year business. The Jehovah's Witness has 14 years in the world 4 times, and 4 times you've been wrong. I want to know how you expect to be taken seriously. Thank you very much, Pat. Well, first in 1914, then again in 1925, then in 1938, and each time you've been wrong. Now you won't even pin yourself down to a date. You just say the world will end in a generation of 1914. Now, I want to know what happened. Why can't you get your story straight? Turn that around, Paul, with Eric, respectfully, because we predicted 1914 as the end of the Gentile time. We still believe that to be sound chronologically. We believe the period we're in now is the time of the end of the system, coming to its conclusion, everything that you're reading to that point. The year 1925 was mentioned by some in our organization as having significance. They found out that was not an accurate decision on their part, so we have published an apology on that. The year 19, where we were on the stream of time, and we published in our own publications an acknowledgement of this. The year that you mentioned, 38, I had no information on, I had never seen it where our publications where that was predicted. But we said that 1914 would mark the generation that was the end to the end of the present. It was the beginning of the end, right? Yes, the beginning of the end, okay. But that was after 1914 when the end was supposed to come, then you changed it around to be the beginning of the end. Not really. Well, anyhow, if it is the beginning of the end, if the end is so close, if the generation of 1914, the end must be very close. Right. And why are you missing all of Mr. Rutherford, I'd like to ask you one question. Why haven't your people predicted a new date for the end of the world? Or do you have one evidence? Well, as we were saying earlier, the 1914 date was predicted as the end of the Gentile times, and the setting in of a period of the end, which we believe would be a generation in length. And as noted by one of your panelists, this is getting close now. But we don't set a date because Christ himself frankly said no man knows the day or hour. But in that very context, where he said no man knows the day or hour, not even the Son, it was he who said, this generation that would see all the things he predicted will not pass away till all these things are fulfilled. So,
in the book I was showing you, The Harp of God, PDF you can get downloaded, 1921. Page 339. Because Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the faithful men, prophets described by Apostle Paul in Hebrews, are promised a better resurrection because of the statement of the prophet that they shall be princes or rulers of all the earth. Okay, and it's talking about these will be the first ones will be resurrected under this new covenant. Therefore, it is reasonable to expect them to be back on the earth at the time of the beginning of the restoration blessing, and they will be visible as representatives of the kingdom of heavens, and they are the ones that shall be ministrations, the affairs of the earth under the direction. Second book means not living will never die. On page 89, 90, confidently expect that 1925 will mark the return of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the faithful prophets of old. So this showing right here that these men were supposed to be back on the earth in 1925. This is called Jehovah's Witness Under Attack, a radio program. Under Attack radio program was from 1975. Well, here's the problem. Part of the last of the audio, person asked, did they predict the world was going to end in the near future? Well, they did. It was 1975. And I do remember that there was a talk about 1975, and my dad knew that there was something was going to happen in 1975. He even said that it was supposed to happen, but nothing happened. This event was also covered in February 22nd of 1976, after, in which this was the Wake magazine, after 1975 came and went. And there's a lot of literature and information about 1975. You can go to search 1975 and put Jehovah's Witnesses, and it'll bring you up false date of 1975. So the governing body, or in that case in the early times, it was the board of directors. In case if someone wants to argue about there was no governing body, but they was called board directors that control information about these books